I'm going to find something to drink.
Good luck.
There's got to be something.
Water.
I don't want water.
There's like a Snapple tea in there.
Boo, that's probably like 5 years old.
Not 5.
I guess I can drink a crappy lemonade.
Go ahead.
That's probably out of date. November 12th.
Yeah. So sad.
It is sad. There's nothing in here. I don't want to make coffee. I guess I gotta drink warm water.
Get ice.
This is full.
Hello, people. I'm sorry. Public.
Or crappy water.
Water's good for you. You said you wanted to be healthier.
I've lost weight.
Drink some water.
It's like room temperature.
So? Stop complaining.
I'll complain all I
Be
want to.
grateful for what you have.
Hello, everybody.
You have water.
Nicole, what's happening?
How was your Christmas?
It was cold.
Well, if you're talking about the weekend before actual Christmas when we celebrated, yeah, it was cold. It was good.
We went to Pennsylvania to visit my sisters and her immediate family. And it was like 23 degrees. I don't care if that weather app said it was 35. It was 23. And the nights were like 12.
But actual Christmas...
Stacy, how are you?
Actual Christmas Day, we worked.
We worked.
However, your parents dropped off gifts.
Bucks County, I can relate. Yes, I know
Bucks County. Where at in Bucks County?
I know Bucks County.
Because my sister just moved to Bucks County.
Yes, and here it was very cold. It was like the coldest.
My watch died.
Wait, they said Florida. It was the coldest Florida has been in like 10 years or something like that. And the nighttime was like 42 degrees or something.
I don't know.
It was pretty cold, but we worked. So,
We were inside.
that was our Christmas. I had to work Christmas Eve, Christmas Day this weekend, and I got to work New Year's Eve and New Year's Day next weekend. Yay, me. So that's always fun. No, they try to get me to work. I said no. But yes, how was... First I want to say happy holidays to everybody. Happy holidays.
Langhorne. I know where Langhorne is.
Never heard of her.
Really?
No.
It's in Bucks County. 42, that's a tropical heat wave compared to 10 degrees it was the other day.
I don't envy that. I don't want that. I'm a warm person.
My niece is always like playing around without like pants on even in the cold. But I mean, I guess compared to Wisconsin, PA weather's warm.
I guess. Wisconsin's pretty cold. We were there once in December.
For a football game.
It
rained the whole time.
It rained.
But we won!
Whatever. There was a blizzard here in Lakeland. Well, there was frost.
Yeah, there was frost here the last couple of mornings.
I stepped outside today and I walked like on the grass for like a second. I was like, what's that crunching? Like I thought I stepped on something.
Frost.
It was frost. And I was like, what is this crap? And then my car like made this like beeping sound. And I'm like, at first like, I was like, I got a flat tire or something. Or, because my car will do that as sensors. And then I look at the dash because I look to see like what it's indicating. And it just starts like flashing. I'm like, oh no, this can't be good. This is probably like my engine. And then I see like a snowflake and it says like 37 degrees. So my car even yelled at me. He's like, what's going on? It's cold. Why are we driving?
Orange prices are going to go up then.
Yeah, that's the truth of that.
Good, very well.
So happy holidays, everybody. We hope you had a great Christmas. New Year is coming up. Thank God. This
2020 is almost over, guys.
I'm so relieved. I'm sure everybody is as well. This is probably a no-brainer to people. I don't think things are going back to normal
No.
in 2021. However, I just hope that it's a little bit better than the 2020 year that has been. And speaking of 2020,
What if 2021 is worse? Well, we're not thinking like that.
oh, well, see, I like to keep the bar low, so I know what you're talking about. That way I'm never disappointed. Life lessons, write that down. Tony says keep the bar low, that way you're never disappointed.
Make sure to yell Jumanji at midnight.
That's right.
I know.
Yell Jumanji. I still blame 2020 on the people who tried to like do that.
Make their broom
Yeah,
stand straight up.
do that witchery and make their broom stand.
Ever since
and
then, it went downhill.
I'm telling you,
witchcraft.
you brought out
people.
some witchcraft. I'm just saying. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. But speaking of 2020, if you're new to the channel here, Lisa and I've done this a couple times.
We have?
Yes, we have. We've done this before. Where we give our personal review of the year-end review, I should say, of Walt Disney World. Now, we go to all different theme parks, but we're specifically going to talk about Disney World. I mean, Universal could probably be on the list as most likely the same as these.
That.
Because it's pretty much the same in a sense as I was going over the list. But this is strictly Disney World, the best and the worst of year-end recap, review, whatever you want to call it, 2020. So I feel like we should just start with the worst stuff and then work into some positivity. And some of these that I go over can kind of go both ways.
I guess
depending on how you look at it. Now, like I said, these are...
Yoda socks.
Yeah, you got Baby Yoda socks on. But now, you know, we're not talking about movies. We're not talking about Disney Plus or anything like that. This is strictly the parks.
Disney World.
The world. The world of
The
Disney,
world.
the park. The world. Not saying, just saying. So, let's jump into it. This section here is the worst of Disney 2020. And I feel we need to start with the elephant in the room.
Iger left. Chapek took over.
Bob Iger leaves and Chapek takes over. This is like the first thing we hear in like 2020. And I'm like, dude, this is a terrible idea.
But
like,
he kind of
I knew it was gonna
to
happen.
try to save it.
You're like, yeah, he pulled the biggest like reverse Uno
What is in
card.
that red cup? He's very upset that all he has to drink is water.
It's just water. You see, just look at it. It's nothing.
I'm drinking the last Coke.
But Bob Iger takes over.
Chapek takes over.
Chapek, Lex Luthor, as I call him, takes over. And this is bad for business. Actually, like, in some businesses it's probably good. But in a theme park world for guests, this is bad for business. Now, we knew this was going to happen. I mean, if you didn't know, I mean, I don't know. We knew Chapek was eventually going to take over. Iger's leaving was a little abrupt in a sense. Now, he has talked about
to us, but I think
he has talked about in the past that he was going to retire, but then he changed it because I think he was still working on the Marvel deal for Disney Plus. If I'm correct on that.
know.
But then, you know, everything was fine. Then all of a sudden, I read the headlines that Iger leaves. So it was like abrupt in that sense, you know.
He didn't like leave.
He stepped down big time.
Changed position.
He took a major pay cut.
I doubt it.
I don't know. But I thought this was a terrible idea. I don't like Bob Chapek. I let that known a lot, as I call him Lex Luthor.
There was also talk of him running for president.
Oh, I
Which
did
one,
hear something.
Iger or Chapek?
I heard something about Iger possibly running for president. But then I heard Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was going to run for president as well.
Kanye West ran for president.
That was a joke. Yeah, 2020, where Kanye West is saying, hey, I'm going to run for presidency. Jesus.
As part of the birthday party.
So stupid. So that is numero uno in the worst. I give that a thumbs down to Bob Chapek taking over.
And then the obvious.
COVID. COVID
which
strikes
caused
the park.
Disney World to close for 4 months.
I don't remember the date, March 14th or something like that. Mid-March, I want to say.
It was mid-March. I don't remember
Mid-March.
the exact date.
We get the
I could actually look it up. Give me a second.
We get the announcement that Disney
March.
World.
Did it close Saturday or Sunday? It closed on a Sunday, remember?
Probably.
Because we spent a whole week in there.
Yeah.
So it was technically at end of business day on the 15th.
So I was close. I said the 14th. I was close. I had the day off. Pretty good.
Something like that.
But it was projected to us, to the guests, that it was going to only be closed for 2 weeks. However, that 2 weeks turned into 4 months.
Yeah.
Understandable. Can't do anything about it. That's not Disney's fault, but it's just still the worst possible thing that could happen. It still makes a list because the theme park, as we're talking about, was closed.
I don't think Disney has ever been closed for that long.
No. No, never.
That's some bad.
Also, Small World still sucks.
In other news, Small World sucks.
It still does. I absolutely agree.
It has not changed. It's still terrible.
Every year I say that. Small World is a terrible ride. Terrible. Get rid of it. Burn it to the ground, I say.
All right. Also going along with COVID, the constant laying off of cast members.
Now, I knew, and I think everybody did as well, we knew that layoffs were going to happen because the parks weren't open, they were losing money, they couldn't keep people.
And not just Walt Disney World, we're talking about every single Disney park globally was shut down.
So we knew that was going to happen, but what I put down in there, I put the constant layoffs. Now, when the park reopened, it was very slow. But, lately in the last the last 3 months, I'd probably say.
There's been more layoffs.
It's been a lot busier, but more layoffs. And then they kept saying, oh, it's because Disneyland is still closed. But, see, this brings me back to Chapek. Because we all know Chapek has been wanting to cut costs in the parks, not just Disney World, just in the parks in general. Cut costs, make more money. So I feel that Chapek kind of used COVID as he did it because of COVID, but furthered it even more because it was a good excuse. Because what are you going to say? You take that to the board, you're like, well, COVID's still a problem. I have to lay off more people. But yet Disney World is getting so busy, and if you've been there in 2020, I don't know if you had, some people are still
people have not made it
have
back.
not been going because of COVID, which is fine. Everybody's right in their opinion. But
and some people just can't because of the travel restrictions.
Yes, true too, the travel restrictions. But it's like, come on, I think it was an excessive amount to keep going with the layoffs. Brings me back to Chapek.
Tony don't like him.
Lex Luthor.
Chapek equals cheapskate.
He is a cheapskate.
Someone
I mean, he can make a company money, but he does that by laying them off. And he's like, well, look how much money we made. You laid everybody off. Of course you made money. And you made money not through the parks. You made it through Disney Plus and everything else. Because that's when COVID happened, or it's still happening. But the closure of the parks, they were making their money off Disney Plus. Actually, that Disney Plus was great for them. If Disney Plus was
World have capacity limitation due to COVID? Yes.
Yes, they do. Before
and
it
I
was.
I agree with Stacy. It was so he could keep his salary.
Of course it was. Of course it was. Come on now. Everybody took a pay cut, right? They said the managers did, and I believe that. I believe Iger took a whole year's salary and decide not to take it or anything. I believe that. But then, it was weird to me in 2020, because this happened, laying off more people, more cast members getting laid off, and then miraculously you see another headline that all the managers,
are getting these nice
got their salaries back. And I think some did get a raise. But yet we're laying off more cast members.
Of the actual working class people that need their jobs to live off of. Just saying. Off the topic, B Bean said, "Are you glad to be back in the warmth? What was the temp today?" I would say I would be glad to be back in the warmth, except the last few days haven't been so warm. However, today it was like almost 70, so we did get back to some warmer weather.
Yeah, it's been some warmer weather, but nothing crazy. Today was 70, tomorrow is maybe 73, but then we go back to like 60s. The nights have been the worst. The nights have been cold.
Like 30s.
30s and 40s.
In the mornings.
Yeah, so.
Because we wake up early for work. So it's like in the 30s when I'm going to work.
I think it hit 70 degrees here. Just about. If not, maybe a degree or two off. But it was pretty close.
All right. Next. So they They kept the pricing for annual pass holders the same for each tier, even though we were all getting the same thing.
So that happened in 2020. That was a very big across the board, all social media platforms, people very upset. Pass holders very upset.
Platinum Plus people that are still paying their regular price, even though to this day the water parks have not reopened.
Yes.
So they're paying for 2 parks that haven't even opened. Then you have your platinum holders where we have no blackout dates, but we have to make reservations. So we're still paying our regular amount to not be able to go every day. And the same with your gold, your silver, and everything else. Like, we're all still paying our normal amount we're all getting the same thing across the board. I do think though, for gold and under who have blackout dates, I kind of feel bad for them.
Hi, Dancing Alex.
They still got blacked out during the holiday season when the whole park was closed for 4 months. Like, I would have just let go of the blackout dates for the remainder of the year and started fresh 2021.
See,
in my opinion.
I'm not calling this, like, I put this on the list because this was a big problem for a lot of people, all right? This wasn't just, like, a problem for us because when it first was stated this way, of course I was a little upset, but then, I got over it, but some people didn't, obviously, and kept going with it. I think, in my opinion, that Disney, until everything returned back to normal, should have just made all tiers, I'm talking pass holders, one set price.
Yeah, you all pay the
just
same
just
amount
one set price. Whether it be like $500 or $500 or whatever, not $500.
Whatever it is.
Let's say if you were on the monthly plan, it was just a straight up across the board like $50 a month. I don't know. I'm just putting a number out there.
Just putting something there for the fact that
it should have probably been that way until you reopen back up to, like, let's say 70 or 80%, but you're letting, these tiers be able to do their things.
That's a Platinum Plus, and I understand why they don't want to get rid of their pass because, obviously the water parks will eventually reopen, but then at least bring them down to paying just the regular Platinum payment until the water parks reopen.
Yeah.
That's just...
yeah, instead of, like, just everybody, I think they should have just said, let's just make it one price. For now,
until we can get things up and running.
Yeah, because when you're at 70%, let's say, of capacity, they could probably work a way for their tiers to be able to do what their tiers can do.
And when we're talking about the tiers, we're talking about the Florida residents. Because the non-Florida residents, they don't really have tiers.
No.
I mean, they do. It's with or without water parks.
Yeah.
That's it. So, anyway.
Moving on. But that was a bad thing for a lot of people, I think, across the board. That was all over social media, if you remember that.
The next one is Tony's pet peeve.
I have a lot of pet peeves.
The barges were placed at Epcot.
Oh, God. So, the barges, what I'm talking about, is it came last month, I think 2 of 6, I believe, were placed...
In the lagoon.
In the lagoon at Epcot to get ready for Harmonious, the firework display that we're all pretty excited for. However, that beautiful view.
Like if you're over in America or Italy or Germany and you look across the lagoon and you see Spaceship Earth, now you see a barge.
And
with
it's
like the top of Spaceship
and
Earth
it's a
peeking out.
big barge, so it just ruins the view. And I have a big problem with that, because if you guys notice on like when we are live from Epcot, or even when I'm just shooting a video, you know, I always, you know, I'm shooting in front of me, but I always turn to the side and I give you guys like a minute of just walking and looking at that view, like she said, around Italy, America area, seeing Spaceship Earth, because that view is awesome. Now when you get that, you're going to see a big old barge in the way.
You'll be able to see the top of Spaceship Earth.
Half of Spaceship Earth. Half. Oh, it's so annoying. I hate that thing. I hate it already.
Pet peeve.
I hate it already. Killed the view. For me, like I said, this year-end review is our opinion. Some people might say, hey, I love those big old barges in the way of everything. Some might. I don't know.
Hopefully the actual fireworks show, whenever it
For it
happens, will be
killing my
amazing.
view, you better be like the best in the world firework display. That was terrible sentencing.
Especially because Tony really liked the original.
Who doesn't love illuminations? But I understand why I had to go. But that was not part of 2020, so we are not talking about
So you're
that.
saying you don't really love it?
So I'm not saying. I'm just saying it.
He hates it.
I hate it.
A lot. He loathes it.
Yeah, hate's not a strong enough or loathe. I really do. I hate that
I feel
barge.
like you're Corey Matthews. Whoever came up with that decision should be tied to a pole and made to look at it.
You know, that's exactly what they should do. Say that louder so they could hear you.
So,
and I agree.
okay.
That's what should happen.
I'm a huge Boy Meets World fan. I grew up watching that show. And for those of you who've watched that show, if you remember the episode where Topanga, it almost looks like she
Crimped her hair or something?
crimped her hair. She was trying something new, and her and Corey were trying this whole honesty thing where they give their honest opinions. And she asked Corey what he thinks of her hair, and he pretty much says, "I hate it. No, hate's not a story. No, hate is good. I think whoever did that to you should be tied up and made to look at it."
And that's exactly what
He
should
feels
happen.
whoever decided to put the barges out there should be tied up and made to look at it.
Just look at it. I'd be like, you ruined it. And then I'd throw like pebbles at you.
Krista Fry did the Grinch. Hate, double hate, loathe entirely.
And that's the truth of it. And when they keep bringing more barges in until it's completely done, I'm going to hate every single one even more than the last one. Just saying.
Moving on.
Moving on.
A lot of restaurants are still closed.
So, this could go either way.
I understand.
When I say it could go either way, it's because this, from what I've been seeing from the mass majority of people going back and forth with the opinion of this during these times.
I understand why not all the restaurants are open. They laid off all the cast members, so they obviously don't have people to work them. I get it.
And some of the spaces are too small. Disney World, their little restaurants and
Especially
quick
when you're doing
service,
like quick service, yeah.
they're not very big. Like Casey's Corner.
However, some of them...
How they fit 50 people in that place sometimes to wait for a hot dog is beyond me.
However, some of them, like Casey's Corner, I understand the size being an issue, but that's a big money maker. And for being closed for 4 months, I think they could have come up with a way that you mobile order.
Just mobile order everything.
And it can tell you when to come pick up your hot dog to disperse the crowd. And it would still bring in money because everyone wants their Casey Corner's hot dog.
I'll even put with that even some of the retail shops. Because that helps disperse people out.
Yeah, not all the... Like the last time we were at Animal Kingdom, Island Mercantile was closed again.
But they reopened.
Like they keep changing it.
Yeah, so it's like...
And just in general, there's just not everything's open. So, and again, I understand we don't have all the cast members here, so you don't have the people to work them.
So I'm putting this
But
more on.
like Tony said, it's also a good way to disperse people.
So I'm putting this on the both either or, a best of and a worst of. Like that one can go either way. Because I get it during these times. What are you gonna do? But then it's like, it could be an opportunity to make money off the merchandise sales. Social distancing, letting in certain amount of people, your capacity, whatever, 30% in. They have cast members there anyways, doing a tally. That's what they're constantly looking at, their little phone, their little iPhone, iPad,
Clicking.
that clicking away of how many people are in and how many people are out, So it could really disperse those crowds a little bit and you could still make money. But I'm not saying like that's what you should have done because some people aren't comfortable with that stuff. So this goes with the either or.
And the logistics is they can't.
Exactly, they can't. So
they let go of all their cast members. So who are you gonna have to work them?
Yeah, that could go either way.
We won against the Eagles.
Oh, we did. I totally forgot Dallas was playing today. Yay!
Yay!
So does that put us in first place right now?
Of the worst
division? The worst division. Does that put us first place in the worst division now? Because
first.
Because before the Eagles game, I did look today at the standings and we were in second place. So we beat the Eagles.
Giants were in first.
No, Giants are dead.
Or no, it was Washington that was in first.
Yeah, they still are.
So you're still not the best and the worst?
No, we're in second place. So if Washington loses...
Side note, we're going to talk about football real quick so Tony can figure out where his Cowboys are standing.
Next week, the last game before Wild Card, the Washington football team...
Go Buccaneers.
Has to play Philly. So if Washington loses to Philly, I think that puts Dallas in first place.
But are they going to lose to the Eagles?
It's like the only time, whatever helps Dallas is the only time I root for Philly if they can make that happen for me. It's like the only time.
I play tomorrow night, so...
Yeah. Yeah, we're second. That's what I thought, yeah.
Apparently, there's a snowstorm happening over at Lambeau Field, so it'll be interesting how they clear that up for tomorrow night's game.
They find a way.
Yeah, they're used to it. It's Wisconsin.
Exactly. They got people on standby.
All right.
Next.
Sad.
It's all sad. This is the worst of.
But this is my worst.
This is your worst. Okay. Well, you got to tell people.
I was waiting for the ice maker to stop making noise.
She was making this dramatic. Just say it.
John Rohde announced his retirement.
Joe Rohde.
Joe Rohde. What did I say, John?
You said John. Joe.
Joe
Rohde announced his retirement.
So sad.
January 4th, I think, is his last day.
When Tony told me that, it's like my heart immediately sank.
I think everybody's heart sank.
And my very first comment to him was, so Animal Kingdom's just going to turn to trash, isn't it now?
It's possible. Because Joe Rohde, if you don't know, that's his baby.
He, designed that whole park, which is my favorite park. And obviously, there's going to come a time where he was going to eventually retire, but I don't think now was the time.
No.
Joe.
No, I don't blame Joe at all.
I know, but
I honestly think.
I'm still upset.
You want my opinion?
No.
My opinion is Disney, Chapek. This goes back to Chapek, Lex Luthor. Someone just said Joe Rohde with a question mark. He is the biggest Imagineer.
Animal Kingdom.
Animal Kingdom. If you walk in Animal Kingdom, that's him.
Everything in Animal Kingdom is Joe.
So
even the safari and how it's laid out and all the hidden things that you can't see, it's him.
It's him.
And now he's gone.
I think, in my opinion, because Joe Rohde did say on Instagram, he's like,
okay, it won't.
He still has plenty of life left in him, to do things. So what I think happened is Lex Luthor, Chapek.
This reminds me of our moving in video.
Yeah.
Do I need to grab the minion? So every time you talk about
right.
Chapek, you can go.
The minion.
The minion.
I feel with all these layoffs, he probably went to Joe and instead of laying him off, was probably like, hey, you want early retirement? We'll give you this, and this. Pretty much, I bet you Chapek gave Joe an offer he couldn't refuse. Yeah, I went Godfather on you. He made him an offer he can't refuse. And I think that's why Joe Rohde took it. Because he probably wasn't going to get... I don't know what that offer was, but...
He will be at Universal soon.
I said that joking around with Lisa when I first heard about Joe Rohde. I said, he's going to go to Universal's going to snatch him up. Wait till that contract is fully run out. And Universal's got to take him.
Universal's going to be like, hey, we have plans for a whole new park.
Why not? Disney did that. They took...
what's his face? That designed Diagon Alley to create Rise of the Resistance.
Rise of the Resistance. I forget his name. The creator of Diagon Alley left the park, and then Disney picked him up, and that creator of Diagon Alley created Rise of the Resistance. Does that make sense? Did everybody catch that? Because I felt like that was
Tony's
a tongue twister.
Mumbo jumbo.
And my mumbo tongue twister. But sad news. I wonder if a going away present to the guests Joe Rohde leaves us is the Yeti being fixed. He said he's been working on that for like a decade. Fixing the Yeti. I wonder if that'll be the going away present to all of us fans. That'd be awesome.
That'd be awesome.
Fix it. I miss it trying to like swipe at you.
But like with the strobe lights, I think that's how they kind of try to give the illusion that it still was.
Of course. Okay.
Let's move on because I'm upset.
Okay.
The People Mover is still not open.
I put that on my list because I'm very upset about
Tony
that.
likes the People Mover.
I love the People Mover.
And it was a great ride. One, just for people watching. And just for like views of Magic Kingdom, but also for Tron and the construction updates, and you don't got that.
You don't got that no more. So we'll skip past that. That's just a personal to me. I love the People Mover.
And then there's no fast passes, but next weekend, because next weekend is January.
No fast passes? They're not bringing fast passes back.
Not fast passes. Sorry, I was thinking park hopping.
Yeah.
But yeah, no fast passes equals long lines. I got myself excited.
Yeah, still no fast passes because a lot of people are like, well, why don't they just bring fast passes back? With this capacity. So this is and nothing open really. Even though they open some stuff up, it's still like nothing is open. We have long lines everywhere. Well, one. I try to think of this on two sides of the spectrum, you know what I mean? One, the biggest thing is you have no cast members to do it. You
have some because obviously
you have some,
your
but
disability pass people use the fast pass line.
But it's like, I think that was like the biggest thing that like a lot of people just don't understand. And sometimes I don't understand it either when you're looking at it. But I try to see the big picture of it. But I still feel there was a way they could have done it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're reserving to get into the park, so why can't you just still reserve these fast passes?
Just don't give out as many as you were.
Yeah, just give out half of what you were. I don't know.
Start sneezing and coughing in line, it will move faster.
No.
But as we have already showed in our Are These Wait Times Legit, those
They're
lines
really not
look
that
long. But a lot of times, they're not as long as the posted wait time.
Yeah, so if you are new to the channel and you don't know what Lisa's talking about, we have a series on our YouTube channel.
That we started after COVID.
That we started,
post-reopening.
Post-reopening of COVID, because everybody was looking at these long lines. And we have a series called Are These Wait Times Legit? So pretty much how it works, and I even say this in the vlog, exactly what I'm going to say. So how it works is
We pick a ride.
we pick a ride, and we pick top tier rides. You know, top tier.
We're not going to go to the ones that have like the 5-minute posted wait.
Yeah, you know, like Dumbo or something like that. We're going to go to top tier rides. So let's say Peter Pan. All right, we're at Magic Kingdom. We're going to say...
We have not done yet, actually.
No, I haven't done that on that, but it is on my list to do, Peter Pan. And, you know, let's say Peter Pan that day on the app said it was an hour. Let's just say.
60 minutes.
So then I say, we're going to get into the line. Okay, we're going to go in the line. Lisa's going to check her phone again to make sure what that time is. So if she says it's 60 minutes, I then show me timing it, and I have Siri on the iPhone set the timer for 60 minutes, and then I show you every 10 minutes kind of like where we are in place of the line, if we're moving, if we're not, you know, and then we'll talk about pre-COVID, if you were at like this certain spot, you know, how long would it have been, you know, as opposed to now. And so far, every single ride we've been on, minus Frozen, because Frozen we only beat by 2 minutes. Every other ride was like 10, 15, 20 minutes.
But with Frozen, when we got in line, it said it was like a 60 or 65 minute wait. But when we made it to where we could actually see the posted wait time, it had actually jumped to 85 minutes.
Yeah, so that was kind of like...
So...
And I stopped the timer once we
are getting
on
the ride.
On the ride. Like physically, so if you're like next in line and you're right there waiting to get on your boat or something like
it's
Jingle Cruise, that time is still going because I'm not physically on the ride. So it's a pretty cool series because I think it's actually...
It's a pretty cool series.
Well, I think it helps people out, you know,
Kayla
for planning.
Just said it helps her plan for her next and not freak out.
Exactly. And then we started doing it at Universal. We did one ride. So I'm slowly going to put Universal in that as well.
It's also just harder to do at Universal just because when we do those videos, we like to then
do a point of view
ride. And Universal's like really strict on filming on their rides.
Yeah.
And
they're very strict on it.
Some of the rides, like the Hulk,
I can't film.
And
Rip Ride Rocket,
we can't do because
you can't bring anything with you.
You can't bring anything. You go through a metal detector, so you have to put everything in a locker. So it's just a little harder to do at Universal.
So you'll see more Disney stuff than Universal, but I'm slowly going to do some Universal stuff as well.
BB asked 2 questions.
2 questions. We will answer them.
I guess one was more of a statement. FastPass Plus service was suspended to maintain physical distancing. But I don't quite understand why they can't do physical distancing in the FastPass line if they're doing it already in the standby.
Yeah. I would think you could still... I mean, there's always a method to the madness, I always say. They probably have their reasons, and I'm probably just not thinking outside that box hard enough. But I would think, like Lisa said, if you're physically distancing in the regular standby queue line, you can still do that in the FastPass ones. You still have your markers. You're just letting more of those that FastPass line in more people than you would the standby.
Anyway.
I would think, right?
And then they also asked, is daily capacity met every day and people turned away? Not every day. Obviously, like your major holiday weekends, it does get to... Universal has been the one...
That's turning people away.
Because it's meeting capacity. But again...
They don't do a reservation system.
That was around... Yeah, they don't do a reservation system. Whereas Disney does. So if you can't get a reservation, you just know not to go to the park. Universal doesn't do that.
It's a first come,
first serve. But they don't meet capacity every day. It's just on your main holiday... Like... Pretty much once the holiday season started, almost every weekend, Universal was meeting capacity. But if you went during the weekday, they weren't.
Yeah, except for the week of Christmas, they were meeting it every day. So, I mean, holidays, it's, you know...
HF Sales said, how about a legit segment on the Small World? No.
No, I don't think that's top tier.
We did a love-hate update on It's a Small World, and that was painful enough.
That's right.
And I'm not doing it again.
Because we also had another series... that I think is pretty much done with for right now. Because we pretty much covered a lot of stuff. It was called a Love It, Hate It, or Update It, which was a point of view ride, and then we would talk about if we loved it, hated it,
And
or
I will
updated
never
it.
do it to Small World again.
Yes,
I don't know
we did
why
it on
I
It's
put
a Small
myself
World.
through that suffering after I already knew I hated it. But anyway.
Yeah. We do a lot of suffering stuff. I remember the time...
For you.
I remember the time that I rode one ride all day, and I did a video on that.
We did that.
I did that on Carousel of Progress, where it was just me. Nobody wanted to do it with me.
And then we did it
I did it
on,
11 times, and it was back to, like, when I do that, riding one ride all day, it's like as soon as you're off, you get back in line. I did Carousel of Progress 11 times.
Caballeros and I cracked.
And Lisa cracked. So we did it twice. And people were asking us to do more rides, but I'm like, dude, those two were just so, oh my God.
And I like the 3 Caballeros.
And I love Carousel of Progress.
I only made it 6 times, and then there was no more going on for me. And then I didn't ride it ever since.
Yeah. I think
I've rode it since, but...
I think it was a good 6 months I didn't go on Carousel of Progress after I did it, riding it all day, back to back. How many times could I do it?
All right, let's go back
to... Yeah.
What we were talking about. Back to the worst of 2020 with Disney World. Disney gives a new paint job to all their signs for the 50th. The reason...
This could go...
Okay. The reason I put this on...
Because this could go either way. People love this. People hate this.
The reason I put this on the worst...
I have it on the worst as well.
...is because you're claiming you want to save all this money. And so you let go of all of these cast members, a lot of whom, like, this is their full-time job. So you let them go just to pay people to paint some signs.
That you really don't see.
That you really, yeah. I mean, people see them, but it's not like they stop and, like,
because
pull
you
off
can't.
the side of the road.
Because you can't, because cars are going 55, 60 miles an hour.
I don't get all excited about the sign.
Like, I look at the sign and I'm like, hey,
okay,
Lisa.
yeah, we're in Disney
Hey,
World.
Lisa, look, they painted the sign. And she goes, oh, that's cool. And that's usually my thing, too. Like, yeah, it's cool, but it's like...
Why?
Couldn't you have saved that for something else? You let go all these cast members.
Excuse me. And held off on repainting Welcome to Walt Disney World
I don't think
signs.
that was a rush thing, considering the situation, the circumstances that we were in.
Dumb.
Yeah, I think it needed to be done, but I don't think that was a top priority.
No.
So this is it's a worse for me, a worse for Lisa, but that can go either way. Some people were very ecstatic about it, and I get it. I understand it because it's something new. As a guest at these theme parks, when you see something for many years, something just looked this, you're seeing the same thing for many years, and then you get a facelift. I'm going to call it a facelift.
I get it. But
and then you can get very excited about it. So I understand that too. I just don't think it was needed right now.
I think you should have chose your cast members over the paint job.
Just, that's just
my opinion.
It's an opinion.
J-Pack.
It's an opinion.
All right. Where am I?
Where are you?
No fireworks.
This could go either way as well.
No, I think this is just... I mean, I get it. I get it.
This could be...
We are in a new...
Because we can't social distance with that.
We now live in a world of social distancing. So I get why they're not doing it. Obviously, it draws crowds. That's why they're also not doing parades. They do cavalcades, but they're unannounced. And
Disney World is the mecca of all their parks in the world. So
I get it. However,
it's harder for us, I think, and I mean us, meaning Disney World, Florida. It's harder for us to put on a firework display as opposed to maybe Disneyland Paris, where it's more of a local thing. It's not very touristy as Walt Disney World. We are the moneymaker. We're the cash grab. We're the cash cow. We are the mecca.
However, it is still sad not seeing them.
Yeah. I mean, however, the good part on that is there is some life that can be brought into it because they've been doing some test runs.
And However, I know we're talking about Disney, but Universal has brought back their evening light or water show.
Yeah. However, I have not.
We have not done it, we have not seen it yet. But
I've seen the water show,
but yeah,
pre-COVID, but not since COVID.
So my understanding is you either have to reserve or you just get there early enough to wait in a line because there's only so much capacity of
and that's
people.
A small space.
Yeah,
like, dude, that's a small
space. If
space.
you've never seen Universal's water show at Universal Studios, not Islands of Adventure.
It's pretty much where Jaws was.
Yeah, so it's in the lagoon area, but unlike Illuminations, where you could have people standing all around the entire lagoon and can watch the show, it's a water show with stuff projected onto the water, but it can only be viewed from one side.
Yeah.
So you could stand all around the lagoon, but you're not going to see anything but water. So it's limited capacity. Islands of Adventure still has not brought back the
display on
Hogwarts. So they still haven't done that yet. But that's an even smaller area.
That's even smaller.
So, yeah. Kayla said, do you think they could do fireworks in a way where you could see them from anywhere in the park, meaning more of Magic Kingdom? Epcot would be easier. Not sure about Hollywood Studios. So I get what you're saying about Magic Kingdom, because like with Happily Ever After, you can see the fireworks pretty much from anywhere in Magic Kingdom. But a good portion of that show is also looking at the projections on the castle. So I think they could be a way to do it if they just took away the projections and just did the fireworks. But again, that's still going to draw people, because even if there's no projections on the castle, because I forget what the firework display was called before Happily Ever After. But the one before Happily Ever After, they didn't do projections on the castle. It was all just fireworks. But everyone still wants to watch from Main Street because they want to get that perfect picture of the castle with the fireworks going off behind it. So yes, there's a way, but I still think it would be hard. Epcot would be easier because you have that entire lagoon space. But they're still going to have to figure out social distancing. I think they're just going to have to put like dots for your party to stand. Hollywood Studios, that is a little tougher because it's a smaller spot. And Animal Kingdom, they got rid of Rivers of Light, so
yeah,
I like that show. Before they got rid of the actors.
I think they still do. I think they still do the projection on the Tree of Life.
I don't know. We haven't gone there at night.
I haven't really done any of the parks at night. Well, because for a while,
when Animal Kingdom first opened, it was closing at 6:00.
Yeah.
And that was before we turned the clocks.
Yeah, it wasn't even dusk at that.
Before we changed the clocks, so like it was still sunny at 6:00. So we haven't been there since the time change and that it's been getting darker earlier.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I usually go to the parks earlier in the day. Not so much at night, I think, because I have to work and everything else. I don't know.
I have a feeling, Kayla, that when they do start bringing them back, that you may have to do reservations for fireworks. I don't know. It'll be interesting.
It'll be very interesting how they're going to do that. I think they're trying to figure that all out, you know.
I think the reason Animal Kingdom still closes the earliest is people go to Animal Kingdom to see the animals, so once it gets dark out,
animals are going to bed.
Animals are sleeping. I mean, yes, you can still ride stuff, but I think that's part of the reason. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right.
I would imagine. Yeah. Moving on.
Rise of the Resistance is constantly breaking down. Well, that's been happening since.
But it's still like
COVID.
Yeah, but it's still a thing. And Disney can't do anything about it because.
Yes, they did bring the electrical water pageant back.
Yes, they did
do that. Too bad it wasn't there when we stayed at the Polynesian because I had the perfect view for it.
I know.
Bad part of 2020. Staying at the Polynesian was great. Having the perfect view of the castle with no fireworks or electrical pageant was terrible.
Yeah. I'm not like all keen about the pageant. I know people.
I think for me, when we were at Polynesian, it was just for the fact that the parks still weren't open at that point. Were they?
Yeah, they were open.
Yes, they were open. You're right. But they were all closing early.
Yeah.
Like, that's when it first opened, so...
Like, Magic Kingdom was closing at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock, which, again, was when it was still light out. So it was like just
Like,
one of those where
yeah,
it's like, why can't you at least just run the electrical water
went
pageant for those of us staying right here?
We went to Poly in the first month of their opening.
We got lucky.
Yeah.
Because
I picked a random date, and I would just so happen to luck out on that date.
The first... I think it was like 1 or 2 weekends after the parks opened.
Yeah, like I picked a good date. Like I took a guess on that one.
All right.
But for Rise, it's something Disney can't fix. I know a lot of people.
Something with the Wi-Fi system.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi system's messed up and they can't fix it.
And let's all face it, Disney's Wi-Fi in general is not the greatest.
It's terrible Wi-Fi.
So.
It's terrible Wi-Fi.
And then the last worst
stuff, and then we'll get into the best.
Yeah, because we've been on for quite some time. The tweaking of the boarding groups for Rise of the Resistance. So it used to be...
This could go either way as well. People may love this system. People still hate this system.
So it used to be that you had 3... Well...
Opportunities.
Since COVID, I should say. You had 3 opportunities. Park opening, I think it was then at 1 o'clock and then at 4 o'clock. Then they changed it to it was just park opening and 4 o'clock? Or park opening and 1 o'clock. They changed
park
it
opening and 1
2.
o'clock.
Then they changed it again, which is what they currently have, that
you can now not be in the park.
Well, anyone who has a reservation for Hollywood Studios that day, that you no longer have to be at the park to make your reservation. So starting at 7 a.m., as long as you were in the general area, which for the longest time we were like, well, how far away is the general area? One of our friends that lives like 15 minutes from us.
Yeah, he was able to get it.
And so we're like 20 minutes from Animal Kingdom, so probably like 25-ish, 30 minutes from Hollywood, so 30 to 45 minutes for him. He was able to do it from his house and got a boarding group. So we know it works from our area. So now that's the new thing is as long as you have a reservation for Hollywood Studios that day starting at 7 a.m., you don't have to be at the park, which I thought was a good idea for the fact that even pre-COVID and post-COVID, people were rushing to Hollywood Studios hours before it opened just to try to get a boarding group.
I was part of those people.
We were part of those people. So this stops the crowds from gathering before the gates open. So it's a way to socially distance.
Which was good.
Yeah. So now you have that you can do that. And then it's at 1 o'clock if they think they have enough spaces available. And the reason I say that is we were just at Hollywood Studios the other day, and we did not get up early to do the boarding. Like, we weren't going to Hollywood Studios that day to ride Rise of the Resistance.
Yeah, so I told her I'm not waking up early.
But they kept making announcements while we were there saying that all boarding groups were filled and that they may reopen boarding groups at 1 o'clock. Well, just for giggles, at 1 o'clock I went on the app, and they still were not dispersing anymore.
Yeah.
Then again, Rise of the Resistance had also crashed down, so they probably thought, we are going to probably have trouble getting all these people we already got boarding groups to.
So, like I said, that new system to get onto Rise of the Resistance, I put as not really a worst of, not really a best of. It's kind of like an indifferent. It depends how you feel. I see a lot of people love this new system. I see a lot of people who hate this system.
I think part of the hate is probably because you have to get up
very early.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people hate too the fact, and I can get this 100%. So I see this a lot. I'm in a lot of these like Disney Facebook groups, and see what's going around, and getting feedback, or not feedback, but hearing other problems for people, especially out of state. And I think a lot of the problems, and I agree, but what are you going to do? Disney can't fix this in any way as of right now. I'm sure they could if they thought about it. But a lot of people saying, I spent all this money on my vacation. I was there, let's say, 5 nights, And all 5 days I got up early to try to get rides and we couldn't do it once. And I get that. I 100% get that because that is very frustrating.
Well, and I think
especially if like a lot of people's goal, especially if you're not like too big into Disney, but I know a lot of people are very big into Star Wars and they are going strictly for that.
Well, and I think the other thing that's frustrating is
I get it.
They did build a queue.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty long queue if they opened up the entire thing. And not once since Rise of the Resistance opened have they done a standby queue.
No.
So what was the whole point of building the queue?
Maybe they'll use it at some point. I don't know.
I think that's where people's frustration comes in. Is like, I would be willing to wait in line.
Yeah, I think people who, are very big into Star Wars, spend all this money. I think some of these people would not care if they waited 2 hours, 3 hours.
Longer. Yeah.
Or longer, I mean, look at Pandora pre-COVID. Some people were waiting 4 hours.
Look at Hagrid's over at Universal. Opening day, people waited 12 hours.
We waited 3.
No.
2 or 3.
2.5. And it broke down twice for a half hour each time.
If you want to ride something that bad, you'll wait in line for it. So I think, too, a lot of people are like, just open up the freaking queue.
Yeah.
We'll wait. Still have your disbursement of passes, but have that second option of, I couldn't get a pass, so my other option is to wait in this 3-hour line.
Like the boarding group is pretty much like the fast pass.
Yeah, because
let that be your fast pass people and
open the boarding.
Open the
queue. Okay. Open the queue and your reservation one's going through the fast pass. That makes sense, right? I would think.
All right. Moving on to the best.
All right, worst is over. We're going to talk about the best of Disney, and let me tell you, it's not that big, so this is going to go quick. There was more worst things than there are best things, but there are good things. So just
like in the worst, where we mentioned that Disney closed for 4 months because of COVID, however, looking at it from the other side, the fact that we are in a global pandemic and Disney World opened within 4 months,
pretty good.
Kind of good.
That's pretty good if you look at it from the bigger picture.
Walt Disney World has not shut back down since it reopened.
Exactly.
All the other parks that reopened had to shut back down.
Or Disneyland in California not even open at all.
But all the other ones, like over in Europe and Asia, when they reopened, they also had to shut back down. And we've been lucky that Walt Disney World, ever since it reopened, it has stayed open. So,
I mean, if you look at it in that sense, it's pretty good. So that's on, good, the best of.
Just recently, the new old fountain returns to Epcot. And we will be there tomorrow.
We will be there tomorrow to see what I always call the old new fountain because of the
new old fountain.
Yes, the new old fountain because it's the old prisms. You know what I mean? So we have the new entrance or the new fountain entrance. I'll call it that. The new fountain entrance. Right outside of Spaceship Earth as soon as you walk in. So it looks beautiful because it has that retro, old, what I love feel of Epcot. And we are going to see it tomorrow. I have yet to see it, just pictures, and it looks beautiful. And
I'm just excited because I wasn't supposed to have off tomorrow. Smart me used my noggin, looked at the schedule, and realized you have way too many of us scheduled off for the same day. I'll switch my day off.
And fun fact with Tony, because it's our first time seeing it, I think we are going to go live from Epcot tomorrow. So you guys can see it with us live and have everybody's reactions on it. So I'm going to say yes. We will be live tomorrow. 1 o'clock?
And it's supposed to be warmer out.
1 o'clock. I'll let you guys know. I'll post it all over the social interwebs. Let you know. But we will all be live. And you're coming along if you choose to. Come along with us to Epcot to look at this beautiful new entrance fountain that I'm so... It's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. It's a classic... It's a very classic Epcot look that I've grown to love. From a wee little lad to the age I am now.
All right. Disney announced that park hopping will resume at the start of the new year. So, next weekend is the new year. And you can park hop.
There is a catch.
Yeah.
There is a catch.
If there's reservations open.
And it only available at
2:00.
2:00. So you have to physically
have to go to
your first park.
Yeah, you have to go to your reserved park.
You have to physically be in there.
Physically go there first. So I don't care if you go in there for 30 seconds. You have to go there.
You have to. You have to scan in.
2:00, you can look to see what other parks have.
And you know what? This is exactly what I said they should have done.
It is.
Months before they find. It's like Disney knows my brain, or I should be working for Disney. But never do that. I like Disney too much to work for them. And I probably would want to fight Chapek.
Minion.
Throw a piece of ice at his head.
Tie him up and make him look at it.
Make him look at the barges. Just tie him up and just look at it.
Look at it.
You don't go nowhere. You're just made to stare at it.
All right.
But that's exciting park hopping, dude.
Yes.
That is very exciting.
Something we have
Helping
missed.
to disperse crowds. You know, that's a big thing.
It is something I missed for the fact that there were times where we would go to, pre-COVID, we would go to a park and it would be a little bit more crowded. Or once we got there, we just weren't feeling it. Let's go to another park. And we could. Mm-hmm. So it's the start of something exciting.
Of some almost normalcy feeling.
Yeah.
So another step in the right direction. Starting January 1st.
This next one is just for pass holders. If you are a pass holder, you had multiple opportunities since the reopening to get 30% off of merchandise at the parks and at Disney Springs. And it like continuously
That was a big deal.
Kept going. It was like, oh, you got 30% off Flower and Garden because, you know, that festival didn't really happen. And then all of a sudden you could get 30% off of food and wine. And then you could get 30% off of the holiday stuff. So, like, it just kept going. It was great.
And a lot of people thought, oh, it's just for the weekend or just for the week. No, Disney, like, was extending it for, like...
Ever.
It felt like a month at a time.
Pretty much
the whole month was a 30%.
Since it reopened, we've had opportunities to save 30%. Yeah. Which, if you're not familiar, normally we would get, like, 10%.
10%. So that was
was a nice jump.
That was a very big deal.
It was almost as good as shopping at the warehouse.
It almost was.
And we did not add that to the best of.
Because that's not Disney World.
Worst of.
That's not Disney World.
Kind of.
That's just a shopping center.
Warehouse reopened. Bad part, it closed. Good part, reopened.
There you go. A warehouse.
Cinderella Castle gets a facelift. See, I have
This could go either way, a bad or a good. So, me, I'm putting Cinderella's facelift, the painting, actually a mixed feeling.
So
I have a mixed feeling with it.
They started it before COVID, but it was started in 2020, so I guess yes, it still makes sense to be on the list.
Yes,
because I think 2020, only like consists of COVID, but
it was revealed because during that 4 months they were still painting it. They were finishing the paint.
However, I agree with Tony when he said when we first got back to Magic Kingdom and saw it, it looks way too much like Sleeping Beauty's castle at Disneyland.
There's no real distinguish to it. I understand, and yes, Cinderella's castle definitely needed that paint job. I'm not arguing that one bit. But the color scheme is so Disneyland, California.
Which, again, there's nothing wrong with that castle. But the reason I like...
It's not distinguished.
Each park had their own castle.
And their own look.
Yeah. Give us the Cinderella look back. It's Cinderella's castle, for crying out loud.
So, I have that on a mixed feeling. Best and worst. Some people really love it. Some people are like, I don't like it. Give me the old, you know. It just depends if you're talking to the new gens or the old heads. You know what I mean? It depends. I'm kind of, I go back and forth with it. But it definitely needed it, though.
Cavalcades.
I love the cavalcades.
The downside of not having parades is they brought in cavalcades.
Or meet and greets.
Yeah, I was gonna correct that statement. The fact that we don't have parades or meet and greets, they've now done cavalcades at all of the parks.
I love the cavalcades, actually, because you get to see the characters performing in their own element.
I do like at Animal Kingdom that they go down the water and I can chase them.
I like at Epcot where Winnie the Pooh is just hanging out with his
butterfly
with
net.
his butterfly net.
Well, he's not really doing a cavalcade.
No, but still.
He just randomly comes out, and he's cute.
But I do like the cavalcades. I really do. I think they're fun, and the fact that they're not scheduled, so
again, that's how
it's not crowded.
Yeah,
you know?
that's
so
how
you
they're
can
getting
see
away
these
with
things.
it. Is we're not posting time, so no one knows when it's happening. You just got to be lucky to.
Yeah. It seems to me...
Listen for the music. When you hear the music, you know it's coming.
Yeah. For me, I think it comes like every half hour, it feels like. Except for like Thanksgiving. On Thanksgiving Day when we were there live.
It felt like it was
like
coming every 10 minutes.
10 minutes it felt like.
So,
But I like them. I enjoy them. I enjoy the cavalcades.
I like chasing Pocahontas down the riverbed.
I do not enjoy the cavalcades at Hollywood Studios.
Really?
Because they ruin the beautiful looking Camaros with those stupid paint jobs. Now people say it's not a paint job. People say, it's like a peel and rub like type thing, decal to put over those Camaros. But I'm like, it's a Camaro. Look what you did to it. I'm not even worried about the characters that are on it. I'm like, oh, a Camaro's coming. And then I see this. And I'm like, what did you do to the Camaro? It was so pretty before. I don't like that. I don't like that.
Pre-COVID, but still in the year of 2020, because I know sometimes it's hard to think that we did have a beginning of the year without COVID. Well, without it becoming the global pandemic. Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway opened, and we were there opening night.
I think that was
exciting, and it was
very
only
exciting.
Like a few weeks before they had to shut down.
Yeah, so
I want to say it opened at the beginning of March.
Yeah, it opened literally like 2 weeks.
2 or 3 weeks, I think, before they had to shut down the park.
Yeah, and I like Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. I thought that was
It's a
great.
really cute ride.
It's very cute. I miss the Great Movie Ride, and that will always be my favorite. I like that more, but I think it was a great addition. I have no problem with this ride, and I'm glad that it was brought in to 2020.
And then the last best is...
See, we're already done with the best. Wasn't that many.
The day after Christmas, yesterday.
Yesterday, they made the announcement.
They made the announcement that they were calling back a whole bunch of cast members. Woo!
That's exciting.
That means maybe. Well, not maybe. This means that people are getting their jobs back, which is a great thing.
That's a big plus. People need to work, man.
Big plus. Those of us who aren't cast members, though, this possibly means that we're getting closer to these things that are still closed to actually open up. And be available.
That and maybe too, like if it keeps going this direction, things are getting good, if the vaccines and everything work out all right, that maybe we could start slowly bringing in live performers, maybe somehow.
Better bring back Yeehaw Bob.
Yeehaw Bob.
We didn't include that in the worst.
That was the worst. I totally forgot about Yeehaw Bob.
Yeehaw Bob, they let go.
A moment in silence for Yeehaw Bob. He didn't die or anything. They let him go.
He didn't die.
I love Yeehaw Bob.
It was a great show.
10 seconds of silence. And I'm over it. So, now, this is really great news that cast members, the furloughed cast members, are getting calls back. Some people were actually stating that they were getting calls yesterday when they made the announcement. Not everybody, but, this is a very good sign. People are starting to get back to work, because a lot of people did find work, but a lot of them just, still can't because it's a pandemic. It's hard to find work, Yeah. It's very tough times. So
those that were finding work, it was also hard to find something that wasn't considered temporary.
Exactly. So this is very good news. And I think that is the highlight of 2020, right at the end of it, for Disney World to start calling back these cast members. That, I think, is the best thing. And that's going to wrap up this segment of the best and worst of Walt Disney World, a year-end review of 2020. We hope you had a lot of fun. If not, that's okay too. Sometimes I don't have fun. I never do. So we will see you tomorrow, guys. If you choose to hang around with us, we will be live tomorrow from Epcot. Probably about, we'll say, anywhere between 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. I'll let you all know on the social interwebs of the medias of social.
Bob gave you money.
Oh, well, thank you, Bob. You didn't have to do that.
Your buddy Bob.
Buddy Bob. That's Buddy Bob. It's my
Not
buddy
just
Bob.
a random Bob, but your buddy Bob.
That's my buddy Bob. Yes. Merry Christmas to you too, Bob.
It's a little late.
No, he texted me Merry Christmas on Christmas.
Belated Christmas.
No. Yes, and a happy,
There we
hopefully, happy new year. So, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Like I said, I will
What day will we be at the warehouse?
very soon. Very soon, as in maybe a couple hours. Maybe.
Maybe a little more than a couple hours.
Maybe. Usually,
Maybe. Hence why he said the live might be a little later.
Maybe. I don't know. It might happen. So, we will see you guys hopefully tomorrow at Epcot with us live streaming
With the fountain.
with the beautiful fountain. Why are they called cast members?
Because it's a
Because they
show.
are part of the show. Disney World,
Everything
the
at
parks, I should say.
Disney- Well, even
Everything at Disney.
Yeah, but even people working at the warehouse are considered cast members.
Anything
It
that's
is all
Disney owned,
considered
part of the show.
part of the show.
So they are
Cast members.
cast members.
If you work at Universal, you're a team member. Mm-hmm. You're not an employee. You're a team member. At Disney, you are a cast member.
That's right, because you are part of the show. And that is why. You learn something new every day.
All right.
Have a good night, guys. Merry Christmas once again.
Happy holidays.
And happy
New
holidays.
Year.
Happy New Year. It's almost over. Yay. We'll see you.
Jumanji!
Hopefully we'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night. Vlog.
Finito.